I'm Mr. Sony, and I love my job.
No, I'm Mr. Sony, and I love my job.
I'm Mr. Sony. I love my job.
No, guys, I'm obviously Mr. Sony, and I love my job.
Hey everybody, this week I'm fortunate enough to have somebody I used to work with for the last 3 or 4 years, Tom Friesmeyer, with me. 8th grade social studies teacher still, or?
Yep. Same as before.
Same as before.
Different curriculum.
It was more geography driven?
Geography and world cultures.
Awesome.
Unmixed.
He is actually the teacher that I have now gone into the inter-district trivia challenge against, Pilgrim Panthers, who are going to lose tomorrow as our final session for the Olympics, this week in the Olympics. Sorry kids, but he's going to lose. This week I really wanted to talk about students that give you that kind of awkward compliment of, you're weird. Have you ever gotten that? You're weird.
Daily,
okay.
Daily.
It's something that I get from students, and again, I can only speak for myself. I get from students that I know have a hard time admitting that they like your class. It comes off as kind of a rude thing for them, but they're quick to react and kind of a smile and show you different ways that they do like your class.
I think one of the hardest parts is for a middle school student, especially an adolescent, to admit that they like you.
Yeah.
It's not cool sometimes.
Yes.
Sometimes they don't actually want to admit it to themselves that they enjoy your class. But I think this applies to you for sure. You own what you do. You own who you are, and you don't hide that from the kids.
Right.
And I think that respect level comes across, and even their willingness to say, like, you're weird.
Yeah. And can you think of any time where you've had a student obviously recently say that you're weird? Or I know you said it happens all the time daily, but was there any context to it? Or
Sometimes it's not always verbal.
Okay.
Sometimes it's the eye roll, the head shake, the awkward laugh.
That look?
Okay. That look. Like I said, you do it well, but you own what you do in the class. And if it comes across as quirky or it comes across as silly, they know you're being your true self.
Right.
And I own my weirdness.
Right.
So I think it's a comfort level that they have. You tell a joke. I think yesterday's joke was, I was talking about how timelines are about sequential events. They can be dateless. Like my high school career is actually the joke I told. That's good stuff.
Yeah.
That's good stuff. Of course, some classes are like, oh! I insulted myself. I'm not sure you can be like.
So you have that same issue. You mention a student's name and half the room goes, oh, and then they realize it's a compliment.
Yeah, but in this case, I was making fun of myself.
Okay.
So I'm not sure who was burning who in that sentence, but the kids are like, man, you're weird, and I know where they're coming from, and I know the relationship that I have with them. So I don't take it personal. But deep down, it's an appreciation for the fun and the excitement that you bring to the class that sometimes elicits this awkward compliment.
Yeah. It's the student that called me weird, and she says it almost daily. I told her I was going to make this video and kind of call her out. I won't say her name, but she is in my 6th hour. She's an awesome student to have in class, really fun, but she puts up that defense mechanism, like you said, of not wanting to admit that she likes school, not wanting to admit that she enjoys your class. I showed her a letter that her sister wrote me at the end of last year, and it actually said, I hope you have my sister in class next year, and I've switched teams, so it's really random that I got her. But she actually said, I hope that you get her because you're going to straighten her out. So that kind of told me too that, she's got this defense mechanism even built up at home. So,
but that's that relationship component that's really floating to the top here in that compliment.
Yeah.
You've made a connection with the student. Even if sometimes these compliments come across as maybe even with a little bit of insulting tone.
Yeah, definitely.
But you've broken through to some extent that student is willing to share their opinion. And even within that, there's a love and an appreciation.
Yeah. And is there something to kind of an appreciation from the students in letting them know that by you putting yourself out there and being seen as weird and quirky and always having these just goofy puns and stuff like that allows them to know that they have the ability to be just as weird as you in class?
Yeah, I think it transcends whatever you want to call it to a realness.
Yeah.
I know a lot of students have told me that they appreciate how real I am. And that doesn't mean I have to share personal information. I have to tell deep, in-depth, heartfelt stories. But the fact that I am who I am in the classroom and out of the classroom, they see that realness. And in my case, it comes across as weird. But I'm cool with that, and I own it too.
Before we go, I want to throw a shameless plug out there. Tom and I are going to be speaking at the WCSS conference.
Wisconsin, so weird. Wisconsin Council of Social Studies.
That's next weekend. So Tom was actually in town. He drove a little over an hour here so we could work on a presentation, some of the material that we're going to present. Just asked him. I figured he was just as weird as I was, so I really wanted to encourage him to kind of sit in on this and give me some feedback. So thank you, Tom.
Glad to do it.
Absolutely.
You're weird.
Thank you. You are too.